Hi again, YouTube. I know this has been a super long hiatus, and I apologize for that. I've been going through some changes in my life, and I've just now found the time to make this video. And the card that I was experiencing previously was probably more so the Tower, but now that things are settling down and I'm feeling a bit more organized, the Justice card is the perfect card to be next in line for me to be talking about. So I'm really happy to be here and discussing number 11 with you, Justice. And you'll notice that this is a different deck than I've been using, and that's because I actually lost the Justice card from my Rider-Waite deck, unfortunately. So that's been my tarot deck the entire time I've been reading, and I'm gonna have to retire it. So this card, it's quite clear still. You'll see that there are scales. There's a woman here with them, and she is not wearing a blindfold. We haven't gone over the minor arcana yet, but I'm sure many of you are familiar with the card, the Two of Swords, in which a woman is holding two swords and she is wearing a blindfold. So that card is more about not knowing what is the right choice to make between the two options, and the Justice card is the complete opposite of that. Many readers and definitions will tell you that this card in life pertains to legal matters, literally being in court for whatever reason. And that may be the case if you flip over the card and you feel it's a very mundane meaning and it means just that, justice on the physical world happening. But there is a much deeper, more esoteric and more beautiful and profound meaning for this card. And one of the books that I just started using when I started researching this card for you guys is this book, The Tarot Path to Self-Development. I'm not sure if you can get it. My brother found it for me in a used bookshop. But it has some really interesting, really sort of alternative viewpoints on a lot of the cards. So it's something interesting to look at when you're learning. The reason that this figure, this woman, is so capable of making the right decisions, the meaning for her lack of a blindfold in this card, is she has abandoned worldly ambitions and lower emotions that generally cause us to make bad choices. Or not, I guess I shouldn't say bad, but to make choices that resonate on a lower frequency, that are just kind of nearsighted and reactionary. The Justice card is the opposite of that type of reaction. This is a card of wisdom, of total understanding, of utter clarity. The clarity that comes when you realize your oneness, your connection. And it's a very calm state. As profound as it sounds to realize that you are one with God, like that sounds huge and awesome and really dramatic, but it isn't really dramatic, not necessarily, especially not if you have been in that state several times or for a long time. When you're able to go to that place, it's like a revelation, right? And you receive the integrity and love and courage that's necessary for you to make the right choice. So when you're reading and this card appears, it is often because the person whom you're reading for, if that's yourself or someone else, has a difficult decision to make, and they might be struggling with what is the right course of action. So you can counsel them to put aside sentimentality and instead focus with clarity, with presence, And in doing that, the correct action will simply manifest, or the correct answer will just come to you intuitively. Also, this is a card of having control over one's actions and taking responsibility for your actions. Acknowledging even the things that you have done that you are not proud of, but still acknowledging that that is something that you did and just accepting that. That's not very many words. It's pretty simple, but it describes something that is a huge challenge for lots of people. But if it's a challenge that you can meet, then, you know, as always, that furthers your spiritual awakening. Also, this card is concerning one's own self, one's fate, one's destiny. In a place of just clarity, it's easier to see that path. It's easier to know where you're going, what your vocation truly is, and how to proceed. It also calls on us to let go of conditioned patterns that are useless and that are continuously leading us into these same compromising situations or emotional entanglements that don't go well for us. We are conditioned in childhood very early on to see the world a certain way, to react to relationships and other people and different types of scenarios. It's all already been taught to us before we were even conscious that we were learning it. And some people's conditioning is more harmful to them later in life than others, but everyone has this to some extent. So being self-aware enough to acknowledge your own patterns and being willing to look for those is a great way to grow as a person and invite for yourself more joyful experiences instead of more of the same challenge. One of the ones you'll hear a lot is, why do I always date guys or girls that act like da-da-da-da? And the reason that you always date the same type of person is because that's what you learned relationships were supposed to be from your own parents or from whomever was around you that you were relating to as a child. And I know that's simplified and it's a bit Freudian sounding, but it's true. If you had a challenging upbringing and your parents didn't get along or whatever, then later on in life you'll probably have dysfunctional relationships until you come to this place of clarity and realize, oh, this is just this conditioning, and you can rise above it. And once you're in that state, you see the triviality of all of that, and you're able to make decisions that are right, not just for you, but for everyone. Not trying to please someone's ego and placate them by making the choice that they think is right, but by making the choice that is ultimately right and will progress everyone forward. So, yeah. In making decisions, I've made a note here, you make the decisions using your soul's innermost knowing. And I know I've already said intuition, and that's another word for what I'm getting at, but intuition is a word that's used a lot, and sometimes it can get tangled up with the egoic mind, and it's difficult to discern. But I feel like with the phrase, using your soul's innermost knowing, is more specific. Yes. So if you are reading for someone and they've revealed something to you that you can tell is dysfunctional, like an action that they've already taken or that they're considering taking, then the Justice card coming up for them is to let them know that they should take responsibility for their actions and try to make a better decision. Yeah. If you are reading for someone who is just really confused and doesn't know where to go from here at all, those types of people usually won't give you an idea of what they're trying to find out. They just say, I don't know. So the Justice card will be a great opportunity for you to tap into this place yourself as the reader. Tap into that place of your soul's innermost knowing and just allow the correct answer to flow through you. But again, you can fall back on even mythology, the scales. That's in reference to Egyptian mythology, where after you die, your heart is cut out and put onto a scale and weighed against a feather. So if you are lighthearted, then you will go to heaven. It's not called heaven in that mythology, but if you have a heavy heart, then you won't. And I find that interesting because the expression having a heavy heart usually refers to depression or, negative ideas about love, and that does put you in a bad place. That's not very pleasurable. So letting go of those things, shedding them, really gives you the opportunity to become lighthearted and to become more pure and more joyful and to experience heaven right here on earth. Thank you so much for watching. You can go to my channel and I have the playlist of all the videos that I've done, and I'm going to be much more diligent in the future and continue uploading the videos one after another instead of taking another long hiatus. So next time we'll be doing number 12. I'm really excited. That's another one of my favorite cards and one that I've gotten a lot more interesting viewpoints on and clarity on recently. So stay tuned. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again. Blessed be.